What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? Yesterday, I put out a video of my top 5 tokens or coins to own by the end of this year. And mysteriously not on the list was Terra Luna Classic. And somebody even came to me and asked me, why would that be the case if I'm the guy who's talking about it all the time? And the answer to that is going to be, well, it's a little complicated. It's not about Terra Luna Classic. Let me break it down for you and let me show you what I mean by that. Make sure that you hit the like button. And by the way, there's a new thing on YouTube that's going to help me out tremendously, and it's the share button. Share my content, if you will, with everybody that you know. Hit the share button, share it on Facebook, share it on X, share it on any platform. If you just take a moment and do that for me, I think it helps tremendously in pushing it up in the algorithm. You push this up in the algorithm, guess what? New people might show up and start investing in Terra Luna Classic. Okay, so the reason that I think that there's going to be a problem with Terra Luna Classic is, I probably don't have to name, I probably don't have to give names, I probably don't have to say anything. Like I could probably just, draw circles or something like that, that there are people that are here in this blockchain that are not working for your wallet or your better interest. And because of that, I don't think that we have that exit capacity for a huge move currently. That doesn't mean that it won't change. In fact, if you peel back the layers, if it survives, the market module 2.0 will be a fundamental game changer. But until that's ready and off of test center, until it's live, and by the way, remember this pump that we got today was because the market module was getting ready, that we were going to have a market module very, very soon. We're going to test center with it to see what works, what doesn't work, try to make it as best possible. And then we're going to get an idea of what it looks like when actively burning. Now, we can't recreate live, but we can get an idea of what will happen. And then we'll have to look at, what is the volume that we're going to receive? And there is another problem with that. And I'm going to point that problem out to you in just one second. Okay, so now we know one of the problems is the validators. We know that the validators represent an obstacle, not because the validators don't want you to make money, okay? Not because of that. They want you to make money, but they want the chain to be the way they want the chain to be. Fully decentralized, lack of leadership. And by the way, you know that decentralization is very important across the world right now. That is probably the next big thing in investment. The problem with that is that every other decentralized protocol has some form of leadership, and the passion that those leaders have really kind of translates into whether or not a crypto moves or not. Okay, Ethereum is DeFi. Ethereum is at the heart of decentralization, and there's arguments over Vitalik Buterin and his quote-unquote leadership, that he takes too much pride and too much authority in what it is that he does for something that's fully decentralized. And, the simple answer is this. It's at $4,500. Today it's probably not. It's probably around 39, 38. Yeah, 38.55. So it's not absolutely pumped. But let me go back here. Wasn't it launched at 17 cents? And it's sitting at $3,855 right now? Are you kidding me? Are we not seeing what's going on here? Are we not understanding that leadership is required? So we don't have leadership. We don't have a direction, and we fight amongst each other. Remember, I showed you yesterday Battle Force arguing with Lunk Live over something very simple, or arguing with Diamond Hands over something very, very simple. Like, we're down a little bit right now. We're going to be back up. We're going to be back on. Validate with us. And he's like, I can't believe you shilled when... It's a weird thing, okay? So we're eating our own. And when you do stuff like that, then you have a fundamental problem with the direction. Now, that's why, simply put, I'm concerned about whether Luna Classic is going to have that breakout and escape velocity. The other part to that is, I don't think that we're going to get an altcoin season, in my estimation, until January or February. More likely February. And we're going to get a quick one that lasts 30 or 45 days. And that's going to be it. Then the market is going to start correcting to the downside. It is my opinion. That means we've got a long way to go from right now until then, but we have to do the days in between. So my point is, we will have a big move, but we need some more fundamentals to be kind of in place there. We need that market module to be working. We need to reduce the tax from 1.5% to 0% because market module takes over those burns. If we're right, this is going to be better in terms of burns. But for those of you that are saying, well, why can't we continue to have burns? I'm going to show you the answer to that right now. And by the way, you're not going to like it. So to get an idea of what we're doing and what volume we're transacting, we should just look at the layer 2 dexes to see exactly what's being transacted, right? And when you go down this list, it's not a lot. So 21,000 yesterday for Terraport. Garuda, 7673, 5,800, 251. Just consider that if you will. And that's our 4 top dexes. Terraport, Garuda X, TerraSwap, and WISO. All right. We'll be talking more about WISO, by the way, in the coming days, because I think it's an undervalued asset that we should probably be a little bit more involved in. But I'll let you know as that kind of breaks out. Where I'm doing research right now, trying to figure out the best presentation for you guys. But I think that WISO is an undervalued gem that will probably take off along with the rest of the market. And one of my points to that is it's got a remarkable amount of liquidity for the transaction volume and stuff like that. So I suspect that there's a lot of underlying stuff going on with WISO that we're going to really like. Also, when I clicked on WISO World, just kind of looking at it, I got intrigued by this mining proposition. And the mining, it doesn't say that it's ready to go yet. It's coming soon. But I get a sense here that something like that probably going to help and go a long way towards reestablishing Terra Luna Classic as an ecosystem. Not because of Terra Luna Classic, though, but because of something built here, WISO, which will allow you to passively mine and earn passive income potentially. So, we'll see what happens there. But I'm too long on this, but I just wanted to point out that we're going to be digging into WISO in the next couple of days. But the point is, we don't have a lot of trade volume. So when the market module launches, how much are we going to burn? When you look over here, you're talking about, what is this, 1.1 million? 1.1 million in total transactions. Well, if there's any smart person out there, in the comment section down below, you tell me what 1.1 million in volume would generate in terms of burns with the current market module set the way that they outlined it in the white paper. Just do the math on that. And actually, if you look in the white paper, you can see what that number is. I just don't have it in front of me. So go see and put in the comment section exactly how much we would actually burn, and then look at how much we've burned so far. Okay. My point to this is we're not going to be burning enough, but we're going to have to reduce the tax to 0 if we want people to come on the chain and start trading and start effectively burning using the market module, which would burn so much more, at least in practice, or in at least in theory, but not Austin theory. TerraCasino.io for all your risk-based gaming needs. Remember, guys, the Chicago Bears are now winning 4 in a row. If you've been doing this every single time, you'd be making out like a bandit if you just listen to me. Louisville Cardinals beat the number 2 team in the nation. Guys, it's just that simple. Bet on the Chicago Bulls every single night. I mean, what else are you going to say? But you do it at TerraCasino.io. And if you want to trade meme coins or utility coins, then Terraport.finance is your place to do it. I just showed you the data. This is where everybody's trading. And in fact, they are one of the top burn protocols in all of Terra Luna Classic. Along with, by the way, there's some more, which we'll get to over the next couple days. But, those are the things that are going to have to take the place of what we've been doing so far, which is at 1.5%. Every day I come and check for the news. Now, there was a time when there was just nothing but news about Terra Luna Classic, and now it's just pretty dry because people are not paying attention. Now, when people are not paying attention, that is the best time to accumulate because at some point, something happens where people will have to pay attention. That thing, to me, is the market module. That thing, to me, is Juris Protocol coming online. Those little things right there, and they're little things right now. And by the way, I think that those are kind of hamstrung just a bit by the lack of a USTD, but that is my opinion. That is not a statement of fact. It is just my opinion that USTD was a mistake by these validators. But it was their mistake to make, and you gave them the power to do that. So make sure you're delegating with people whose interest match your own. And I hope your interest is your wallet. Now, almost everything is in the green over the last 7 days, which is a very nice thing to see. However, it's going to take a little bit of time to see how we do. The reason for that, Terra Luna Classic has started to move up just a little bit. We're going to check it out on the chart, but it wasn't sustained, or at least I don't know that it's going to be sustained because it's just based on a little tiny bit of speculation on the market module on a time when the market has been kind of shocked by what Wintermute did through Binance. Now, the market's down $14 billion on the day. Luna Classic is up about 1% on the day. You can see right here. And if you remember what I told you before, like there's a range right here that if we cannot push into this range and start to liquidate some of the sellers who are going to be selling, because there are people over here who've bought this dip. There are people who are accumulating right here, and they're going to be incentivized to take a profit along the way. And if you just consider the range of where they are going up into here, that's a 40% profit just to get back to the rejection level. Okay, that's a long way from where we currently are. That means that we've got to get 40% more investment to pump it to this region, by the way. And that's the bottom of where we've been hovering for a while. So, you know, what I'm looking at right now is how do we get there? Now, we saw a nice little spike yesterday. Zoom in here. We went up to 405, rejected right below the 50 MA. Now, here's the issue is this. The issue is that this 50 MA is coming this way. We got this coming this way. And we've got to break above those because otherwise, everybody's AI algorithm, and there are a lot of people that trade with an AI algorithm, everybody's AI algorithm is telling them to avoid Terra Luna Classic. So we have to break above the 50 and the 200 for these AI algorithms to start picking it up and saying, hey, you know what? Something might be happening over here on Terra Luna Classic. And then people will start to pay attention. Traders, I mean, when traders come in, some of them will leave moon bags. And if they leave the moon bags, then what does that mean? Duh, higher floors. So we need to get that floor back. We need to get back into this range right here for that next leg up. If in fact there's going to be a next leg up, and I do think that there will, and I do think that when we zoom out, we can start finding out where that next leg is. And by the way, it's still going to be this green area that I gave you right there. That's going to be the next leg up sort of region here. We got to get to 301 ultimately is what we're looking to do. And if we can get to 301, again, this will cause a lot of people to start head scratching and FOMOing into it. And by the way, all we need right now would be a tremendous spike. If we could get something going on, just some kind of piece of news that caused a tremendous spike like we started to see yesterday, something like that happens, then guess what? People are going to start saying, oh man, I need to get back in. And you know who's going to do that? The degens in South Korea. Remember, this all broke down because it was a South Korean crypto, and it's basically been difficult to trade LUNC in South Korea, but now Binance is reopened, and Binance is the largest holder of Terra Luna Classic. So it stands to reason that a lot of people from South Korea will probably speculate on this asset. So again, I think all the pieces are in place right now for a tremendous pump. We just have to get there. We just have to see the pieces start to fall into place. And maybe we will. USTC is at 0.008, still broken down. I don't see it moving. Again, I've not been bullish on it in a long time. You guys know that. Break to the top of the range. That range is very tight right now. It doesn't really do much. I mean, we need to break to the top up in this range up here. That actually would be about a 6x from where we currently are, 5x from where we currently are. So, something like that, maybe. But again, we need some kind of impetus to really start it. Now, here is where it finally started to happen. We had $53 million in trade volume. We're finally seeing some lift on that. Now, the question is, can it maintain? And if it maintains, then we have to look at where is it coming from. And the place that it's coming from on volume right now is Binance. So that means that we're going to get some good burns out of it. If we can continue to have these good burns, then we're going to burn more supply. And that's going to be a good sign for people who need that for validation. And, again, this is a good opportunity right now to establish a trend. Hopefully we'll do that. Now, what I'm encouraged by the way, is the fact that USTC is not moving nearly as much. I think that the shine is worn off of USTC finally to the point that we can really start talking about, can we focus on Luna Classic? And USTC to me is probably destined to be left behind. I mean, there's nothing else that can be done here. It is my opinion that we need to drop this thing and be done with it and go with a different stablecoin. It's the only path forward that I now see. It doesn't mean that it couldn't happen. Doesn't mean that somebody won't come up with a brilliant way to do it. Doesn't mean, by the way, that Leonardo and Ceramic don't have a good idea. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means right now I don't see it. We have a debt of $5.58 billion for USTC, and there's no way to make it a stable coin for that purpose. So to me, it's just kind of dying, and it's taking away some of the value from Terra Luna Classic. Now, by the way, removing it completely from the ecosystem is going to be worse. So I don't want it to disappear, but I just don't think that it has any value going forward. Yesterday saw a spike of about 50 million in burns, which again, that's not necessarily a spike. I shouldn't say it that way, but it's better than a normal day. So we've still got stuff happening in the background. We still got people moving their stuff around. We still got some burns happening. And again, these are small amounts. What would the market module do? Would it be better? That's the question. 359 million over the last 7 days. Again, we need 2 billion at least for that period of time. So we're not there yet, but hopefully we'll get there soon. All right, guys, that's it. That's your update. Again, I don't put Lunk in my top 5 of altcoins for 2025 through the end of the year, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that we're still going to get a 40 or a 50x. That just means that I think it's going to happen when altcoin season really breaks out. And I don't believe that altcoin season, a true altcoin season, is going to break out until the new year. It doesn't mean that your crypto won't pump or my crypto won't pump or something like that. It doesn't mean that we won't get some news that would cause a tremendous pump on a couple of different cryptos. It just means that I think everything right now is going to be focused on large caps, the Clarity Act in the United States, the ETFs for XRP, the ETFs for Solana, the government shut. All of these pieces are going to have to start breaking down. We've got new data coming in, and exactly, I want to say it's this Friday, we're going to get new CPI data finally. And then the week after that, towards the end of next week, or today, a week from today, the FOMC is going to be meeting, and maybe we're going to get another rate cut. So there are good signs. There are things that are pointing to a positive pump in the market. We just have to get there. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.